Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. Today we have a question from Lance, who says, "Hey Ramsey, I hope my question is not stupid or off topic." Of course not. Now, most of the questions I answer on this channel are about martial arts, but dude, I am not limited to that. I don't limit myself to that. You want to talk about whatever? Let me know in the comments down below. Lance goes on to say, "As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a fighter." That's okay, you don't have to be to ask me a question. But I like your approach to things in life. So I watched a lot of your videos in short time. You answered questions about Bruce Lee and Mike Tyson. What are your thoughts about Benny Urquidez? The guy seems to have an unreal record, but no one really talks about him. Oh man, Benny the Jet, I love Benny the Jet. Benny the Jet Urquidez. Man, what an awesome guy that is. I think he has a YouTube channel. I don't think I'm subscribed to it. If not, he's made many, many appearances in YouTube videos. But man, I love Benny the Jet. Every time I've watched any content he appears in, man, that's what a valuable lesson that is. And such a fascinating dude, very warm personality, very humble. It seems, I don't know him personally, but this is my take on the persona that he projects. And yeah, man, what an amazing kickboxer, though. What an absolutely amazing kickboxer. Something that one of my heroes, Martha Graham, one of the pioneers of modern dance, and also Bruce Lee, both said, independently, I don't believe they knew who the other one was at the time they said this. But it was movement doesn't lie. And Benny Urquidez never told a lie in the ring. Well, fakes and feints, sure, yeah. We might conflate that with lying, but you know what I mean. He never told a lie in the ring as far as his movement went. That man told the truth. Martial arts is a pursuit of the truth, as I always say, and that man knew the truth about striking. Ooh, man. That's one of those guys that I go back to once in a while and I watch his old fights. I watch his highlight videos. I watch those tribute videos. Man, they're so fun to watch those. And he does these things that nobody's doing anymore. And part of it is because rules are different and so on. But a bigger part of it is he was just that good. Why don't we talk about him more? Why are we always talking about Mike Tyson and not Benny Urquidez? Well, Mike Tyson has stayed relevant in pop culture consciousness for a bunch of reasons, some positive, some negative. He's been famous, he's been infamous, etc. He had that comeback fight, that exhibition recently. He's been on podcasts with prolific natures and so on. And Benny the Jet, not as much. He tends to move in less populated circles, I guess. Why do we talk about Bruce Lee more and not Benny the Jet? I mean, they both appeared in martial arts movies. What was it, Meals on Wheels with Jackie Chan? Wasn't Benny the Jet in that one? I'm scratching my head. It's been such a long time since I've seen the films he's appeared in, but he appeared in some movies. But yeah, Bruce Lee, again, he gets all the attention because he was this big revolutionary pioneer of bringing Kung Fu cinema to the United States. Why does that matter? Because movies are a big deal in the United States. Hollywood films are one of the major exports of the United States to the rest of the world. Hollywood is essentially the lens that the rest of the world sees America through in many ways, man. I had this fascinating conversation with one of my students the other day, and he's a Chinese guy, and he's lived outside of China. And when he was younger, he felt like, man, China's not very cool. It's much cooler to live somewhere else. But he came back to Shanghai. He's lived here for a while in the modern Shanghai, which is, man, it is an amazing megacity. It is just an absolutely amazing megacity. And he says to me, I'm starting to think, man, when did China become cool? Like, when did China get this cool? I don't remember it being this cool. It's so different now than when I was a kid. And China has made these huge pushes to make progress in so many different ways since I've been here, just in the last 12 years. I mean, there is such a massive difference in the way things have played out here. And I think one of those things is that China pushed itself really, really hard to progress in many, many positive ways because they were comparing themselves with the imaginary ideals of Hollywood rather than the actual real America. See, countries get into these culture races, these space races, these weapons races, these technology races all the time. Like back in the 80s, I remember, the Cold War was still going on and the U.S. was having the space race with Russia, and Ronald Reagan's Star Wars program was going on. That was on the news all the time, interrupting your regularly scheduled programming if you tried to watch TV, which was the most annoying thing when you were a little kid just trying to watch a Saturday morning cartoon, and the President of the United States would pop up saying something like, I can't do a Ronald Reagan impression, but he'd just start talking about how we were competing, how we were matching up with the Soviets, and how we were going to win. Not an actual physical war, but we were going to win as far as progress. And so we had this idea when I was a kid that the Russians were this incredibly advanced, almost like a sci-fi civilization with these crazy advances in technology we couldn't even imagine, and we had to study so hard to be better than that. We had to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps so much to be better than that. And I didn't really think about it too much until I moved here to China, where there are a lot of people, a lot of immigrants from those former Soviet states, from Russia, Ukraine, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, all the other Stan countries. And hearing them talk about this Cold War era made me realize, oh man, these people were living in complete poverty. So many of these people were just living, the polar opposite of this ideal that was being preached that we needed to compete against. And that's kind of what's happened here in China. I've been outside the U.S. for 12 years, man, and on the few occasions where I went back, it's like going to a foreign country. And it's a weird experience. It's reverse culture shock. But it just makes me think like, man, it's so different. They don't have this simple thing I take for granted now in China. They don't have these in America. You still have to use a wallet in America. What's up with that? You still have to use physical money in America. You still have to use a card in America. It's like living in the past. What's going on there? And maybe some of you don't even know what I'm talking about, but China has made these tremendous technological leaps forward to make life super convenient in so many ways. It's like living in the future. It's literally living in the future, because I'm like 12, 13, 15 hours ahead of a lot of folks who live over in the U.S. As far as time zones are concerned, I'm literally in the future. How about that? We'll circle back to Benny Urquidez in a bit, I'm sure, eventually, maybe. But, yeah, man. So China was competing with an imaginary ideal. Competing with the movies, basically. And the movies show the best, better than the best. The movies show an America that isn't real. When I was in high school, we had a bunch of foreign exchange students come, and I lived in a very small farming town in Idaho, with a population of about 1,000 people and about 10,000 cows. An agricultural society. It's not the exciting civilization shown in Hollywood movies. It's not Hollywood Los Angeles. It's not Hollywood portrayed New York City. It's nothing like that. It's not the big, exciting, fancy, cool life shown in the movies. And so a lot of these foreign exchange students, when they got to New Plymouth, Idaho, this little cow town, home of a county fair, and that's the bragging rights we have there. And a lot of them were just disappointed. They dropped their jaws like, what? This is like a village in my country. I was expecting something cool, and this is what I get? Ugh. Bless their hearts. And I kind of felt sorry for them. I was like, man, I mean, there are big cities in America. This just isn't one of them. Sorry, this is how a lot of people in America actually live. This is our reality. It's not a movie. Sorry. But we have these ideals about other people. We experience actor-observer bias all the time when evaluating and judging other people and other cultures and other countries and other fighters. And people we've only seen on the screen, like Benny the Jet Urquidez. I've never met him in person, never trained with him in person. I've seen his fights, and I've watched enough fights, I've experienced enough fights, I've had enough of my own fights to understand this guy has talent. Had talent, past tense, has talent, present tense. And he's a great teacher. I've done enough coaching to understand what a good teacher is and what a good teacher isn't. And, you know, from the teaching I've seen him do, and the instructional videos that I've seen him put out, the man's solid, rock solid, man. So if you don't know who Benny the Jet Urquidez is, man, because there are a lot of young guys on the internet who don't know who these old school Hall of Famer type of martial artists are. I don't know if there's a martial arts Hall of Fame. There probably is. If he's not in it, if Benny the Jet's not in it, he should be. But yeah, man, the younger generation probably doesn't know who he is. They know who a couple of UFC fighters are. They know who a few popular martial arts YouTubers are. But they might not know Benny the Jet Urquidez. Do yourself a favor. Go look that man up. And if you have a chance to train with him in person, if you live where he lives, go look him up. Go show him some love. Tell him I said hello. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train. If you like the gear I use in my videos, find it at xmartial.com. xmartial.com for rash guards, spats, shorts, and more. At xmartial.com, you'll find a wide variety of clothing designs and sport-specific training equipment for mixed martial arts, no-gi Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, wrestling, and Muay Thai. So, go check out our friends at xmartial.com, and don't forget to use my code Ramsey10 for 10% off everything on the website. It helps out this channel a lot. Thanks again.